Hi there, this is Jill Woods from Crowd Connections, and this video is all about how you find people on Twitter to follow. Now, part of using Twitter as a strategy is to go out and look for people who can connect you with people who could be potential patients. So it's very difficult to go out and track down your patients one by one. It's much better use of your time and energy looking for key people who can connect you to multiple patients. Now, if your healthcare business, as most are, is geographically anchored to a given location, then you have got a relatively easy job on your hands because you need to find people in your local area who have got connections to the kind of people you want to welcome into your practice as patients. Just as an aside, if you haven't read my blog post called Training Falcons and Exploding a Patient Network, you should have a read because that is all about who you should be contacting and why. Okay, so homework one is to go away and read that blog post. I'll put the link in the description below this video. And then the second thing is to come back to Twitter and to start searching. Now, the easiest way to do this is to either you'll already know of organisations in your local area that you're looking for, or you could search on Twitter by place name or by place name or business name or whatever it is. So if I just typed in here, for example, if I typed in Brighouse, which is one of my old stomping grounds, so let's just search for Brighouse and see what comes up. Now, it gives us people and it gives us tweets. So these are all tweets that contain the word Brighouse in some form or other. But then we can actually click on people. And here we've got a whole host of people who've got Brighouse in their name, and then people who've got Brighouse in their description. Okay, so we can start to track down people like this. Now, if you've watched my previous video about setting up and creating lists, this is where the two collide, because once you've found somebody you want to follow, so for example, if I was a physiotherapist in Brighouse, I would be wanting to contact Brighouse ladies rugby team. Okay, so I could start by following them, because that's a very kind social media type thing to do because people want followers, so I'm going to follow them, quite happy to follow them. But then I would also go into here and I would click on this little arrow and I would go to add or remove from lists, and as I'm adding people to my followers, I would automatically go in and add them to the list that I wanted them to be part of. So it's a really good management strategy to do this as you go along, rather than save adding people to lists right to the end when you've followed 500 people and then suddenly realise you've got to go back and add them all to lists in order to make sense of it all. So that's all you do. You literally type in here something you want to search for. You go across to the left hand side, you click on people, and that then gives you all of these different people who've got something to do with Brighouse. Okay, goes on and on and on and on. Now, there's always the confusion because there's nearly always a town in America with the same name as the town in the UK, which is slightly frustrating, but hey ho, we can get over these things. So it's a case of going through and picking out things that you think are relevant to you, to your practice, and connecting to them. The next thing you need to do once you've connected to them and add them to the list is to watch them on the lists. If I show you how to do that, go back to me, go to my lists, pick a list. So let's pick what have we got here? Osteopaths. Okay, so let's look at osteopaths. And here are my osteopaths. So then I need to go through and monitor what these people are saying. And because these are people that I want to start to get to know, and I want them to start to get to know me, you need to start having conversations. So if you had added here a list of, one of your lists was called people in Brighouse I need to get to know, you would then start working your way through and looking at what they're writing and looking for things you can either retweet, that you could favourite, Favourite is a bit like having a like on Facebook. Okay, so if you see something and it just catches your imagination, just click favourite. But it's a case of going through and finding people. Cedar Hills are really prolific on Twitter. I'm finding people who are talking about things you understand, that you feel you can add value to, joining their conversations. And that's all it is. So once you've added them to the list, it's then a much easier job of keeping on top of those people that you want to get to know and who you want to get to know you. Because those are the people, the rugby clubs, I'm trying to think of other examples off the top of my head and I'm struggling, but the managers of nursing homes, the owners of gyms, or secondary school head teachers, or whatever your key your target patient group is, you need to look for people in your local area that can connect you potentially to a lot of those patients. And then you need to start interacting with them on Facebook and Twitter, but we're talking about Twitter. Interact with them on Twitter and help build that relationship. If you don't do it actively, it's not going to happen by accident. So you have to be active on here, using the lists, using Twitter, using search to find the people and making those connections and building those relationships for yourself. So I hope you found that useful. And if you've got any questions at all, put them in the box below this video and I'll happily get back to you as soon as I can. Thank you very much for your time.